Now, just on the submarines, a wise decision, of course, a big decision, a long-term decision, an expensive one, and one that politicians on both sides of politics are trying to own and claim. Good, because they'll all have to stick with it for a long time for it to be worthwhile. But let me just put this into perspective for a moment. For starters, think about how many times over how many years you've seen Australian politicians making major announcements about submarine projects, multi-billion-dollar announcements. I've seen it all the way through from the 1980s when the Hawke government spruiked the Collins-class subs in Adelaide. It always seemed weird that we were building diesel subs 30 years after the US, UK and Russia started using nuclear vessels, but there you go. The Howard government, of course, continued the submarine announcements and projects and funding, and they were always there for the set-piece political announcements, even when there was controversy about their performance or the operability of the subs. Not much happened in the Rudd-Gillard years, but by the time Tony Abbott and Malcolm Turnbull came along, it was all about a new vessel. And unbelievably, we were still talking diesel. Turnbull actually ordered French nuclear-designed submarines reconfigured to make them diesel. It was like putting a two-stroke in a Lamborghini. Then Scott Morrison tipped it all on its head. He scrapped the deal with the French and struck this deal with the US and UK to finally go nuclear, 3/4 of a century after those countries did. A landmark achievement. And that's what we saw officially announced in San Diego today.
The AUKUS agreement we confirm here in San Diego represents the biggest single investment in Australia's defence capability in all of our history.
AUKUS has one overriding objective: to enhance the stability of the Indo-Pacific amid rapidly shifting global dynamics.
The challenges we face have only grown. Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, China's growing assertiveness.
Now, if we're going to protect this nation and deter attack, it's always been clear that we need submarines and we need the best vessels available. What's confounding is not that we've come to this arrangement, but that it took so long. Nuclear subs have been the best since the 1950s, and we've fiddled around with tens of billions of dollars playing in the diesel league. We are now catching up, and we're having to do it in a hurry at great cost. We should have been building this expertise and capability for decades, of course. So isn't it the same with nuclear energy? With our demand for reliable, emissions-free energy and lots of it, there's nothing more certain or obvious than the fact that Australia will end up with a domestic nuclear energy industry. The only reason we didn't do that in the 70s is because we had so much coal and gas, we didn't need it. But now we don't want to use coal and gas, so nuclear must be it. Let's hope we don't waste another 4 or 5 decades delaying this inevitable decision. This is an irresistible move to give this country the reliable and affordable energy we have deliberately surrendered through our renewables frolic. Our national security and national prosperity relies just as much on energy self-sufficiency as it does on military hardware.